I think you have to, it's a good question. What's the comedian's role in defending free speech? I think you have to be willing to acknowledge that there's such a thing as free speech, but it's not freedom of consequence. So you can say whatever you want, but you have to deal with the consequences. And there's a big difference between criticism and cancel culture. I go out there and I say whatever the fuck I want to say. But you've got to be willing to do that. The worst kind of censorship is when the call is coming from inside the house, when it's self-censorship. When you think something is funny and you go, oh, I better not do that joke. I try not to do that. I try and treat you like adults, like friends. Laughter is the sound of freedom. You don't get it in authoritarian regimes. It's because it's kind of truth, right? It speaks truth to power. It's messing around. It also, I think the thing comedy does, is, you ever heard that phrase, the Overton window? People use it when they talk about politics, about what's the most right-wing and what's the most left-wing thing you could say in acceptable conversation on like talk radio. That's the Overton window of conversation. I think there's a social Overton window of what you can and what you can't talk about. And I think comedy expands that a little bit. If you think about how uptight and repressed people were back in the 1960s and 70s, talking about sex and life, like it was different, right? We've expanded that, and I think comedy had a big part to play. So I think it's incredibly important, but then I would say that.